was 2.5, 3 months, but there was a mother with 2 children in that shelter. And part of it was miscommunication. Like, I had alerted Rooster, and he had said he thought that they were never allowing children there, so it didn't even occur to him that there would be children there, and they immediately got them removed. But there are children that have come there and have spent the night, several nights. I mean, homelessness happens across the board, and you need to be doing something about it, not just in the winter months. Last night it was 40 degrees. So I just think, you know, especially those of you that are running for re-election or for a different position, that you might be asking, how can we extend that? From what I understand, you know, and everything I've read, they did an excellent job this year. As far as the advocates are concerned, we are more than happy with, you know, we need more space and we'd like better space, but the fact of the matter is what has happened this year is exponentially better than anything we've had. People had showers, they had food, and they had support, but it shouldn't be ending now because we can't. I mean, I'm on Facebook trying to collect money to buy tents for people because of the 30 people that are there, I'd say at least half of them are going to be moving to the woods. And I hate to encourage that because it's illegal. I don't ask what they do with them once they get the tents, but it's the sad reality that we're facing when May 1st comes.
Thank you, Diane. Always good seeing you. Mr. Hahn, name and address for the record, please.
2060 East Highland Street. It was mentioned of the revenue that's available to solve the firefighters' problem, and being a lone crusader for the money in the lockbox stabilization fund or borrowing fund, I would like if that money could be used to go to Mack Trucks and order a fire truck that they need and start the process. And I would like at some point, if we'd have a motion, that the product be a Mack truck and give the type of service in longevity, and then when they need parts, they could just drive out and get the parts they need from the neighborhood Mack truck factory. And so now that there's 2 sources of revenue, one is the fund that they want to collect interest on, and the other is the lockbox that could be released to get it. This should be an avenue to speed up the process of getting these guys the equipment, and who knows, there might be one in a parking lot someplace that could be used, that a dealer has or something. So I don't think this should be a 3 or 4 month wait to order and see what happens and temporary. Now, the other thing is that there should be some type of checks and balance inspections. If a firefighter reports that a valve isn't working or there's any malfunction on there, that should take priority to get fixed. And if it's something that's a manufacturer defect and they wear out, it should be stocked in the building for immediate replacement. Simple things like that. Now, we know that Messinger just replaced the frame on an ambulance, and I'm saying that having the proper people to repair a pump or retrofit another pump onto us by putting plumbing on, I can't believe that everything is a throwaway society that was built to last forever and going in parades, whether it's St. Patty's Day or Halloween parades, and keep running down the street. Mileage and pumpage, I don't think should go together. If you have 100,000 miles on a truck, that shouldn't mean that the pump doesn't work. So I think those 2 options of the money being made available from the budget that's supposed to be available should be discussed and immediately brought to the attention. And as far as the solicitor goes, I think a report to the firefighters and to the public of the amount of money that the mayor has spent on fighting the arbitration case that could have been used for their equipment should be made public as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the public for courtesy of the floor? Seeing none. Mr. McLean, you comment?
I just wanted to make a comment before we move on from here, because a couple of people who courtesy of the floor have discussed about council getting answers.
Good point.
Mr. Hendricks, in the committee meeting we had earlier, I forget exactly what the issue was. You said you've asked for the information a long time ago, and we still have
Overtime.
Hiring 2 new positions.
an overtime issue, and
Overtime
council has asked on numerous occasions, and I just wanted to show you a response that we got this week on some information that we asked, but this is what we got. So,
Yep.
there-
Yep.
You know, I don't want to say we're stymied in everything,
It's reacted.
but that's all the block is redacted. So,
Yep.
we try. We're trying.
What was that particular memo come after? Was that for the 5-year plan?
Yes.
That was the 5-year plan. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Let somebody.
My request was about the overtime with the paramedics. Since we approved hiring of 2 new paramedics back in the fall and have not yet, a year ago.
Excuse me. Can I take one of these chairs so I can sit down while I'm charging my phone?
Becomes
Yeah.
difficult for us to pass a budget.
Oh, Dennis, wait, I'll talk to you, but I can't talk to you now. Thank you. Thanks. I didn't mean for you to move it. I just, thanks. Oh.
Absolutely.
Put it actually put it in the budget, and they never got hired.
Never got hired.
It was approved. Thank you, Mr. McLean, for moving that up. Last call for tours of the floor. Seeing none, we'll move on. Approval of the minutes by common consent. So moved. Any old business? Business? Anything for communications? Nothing for communications. We'll go right to reports from committees. I will do committee of the whole. Council will meet. as
Good luck.
committee of the whole on
Good
Wednesday,
luck.
May 24th at 6:30 to discuss Bill 5, a proposal for a charter amendment that would ask the voters to waive term limits for the mayor. Budget and Finance, Mr. Greedy.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has not met since the last council meeting. However, there is a committee meeting scheduled for next Wednesday, the 26th at 5:30 p.m. right here in City Council chamber.
Thank you, sir. Community Economic Development, Dr. McGuire.
The committee met this evening and passed favorably Bill 15 for consideration by the whole council. A future meeting has not yet been scheduled.
Thank you, sir. Human Resources Administration Appointments, Ms. Atha.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has not met since the last council meeting. A future meeting has not yet been scheduled.
Thank you, Parks and Recreation, Ms. Moda.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has not met since the last council meeting. A future meeting has not yet been scheduled.
Thank you. Public Safety, Mr. Hendricks.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee met on 12th April, last Wednesday, and there are several bills coming before us tonight to be voted on. And no future meetings are planned at this time.
Thank you, sir. Public Works, Mr. McLean.
Thank you, Mr. President. We also met on the 12th, and we have no future meetings set as of this time, although I know we'll be having one shortly.
Thank you, sir. Rules, Chambers, Intergovernmental Relations Strategy, that's my committee. The committee has not met since the last council meeting. A future meeting has not yet been scheduled. Ad hoc Committee on Inclusionary Zoning, co-chairs Mr. Garidi and Dr. McGuire. Any one of you can talk and speak to that?
I did it last time.
Why don't you do it? Would you do it?
Oh, sure. Since the last, we haven't met since the last council meeting. However, we're still waiting for the report from the administration, particularly from the Community Economic Development Department. And as soon as that report is complete, we'll bring it to the council. Actually, we have a committee meeting, and then
Well, committee, yeah, but, was there a timeline on that, report from Mr. Leitner?
not necessarily. I did ask him how long it was going to take, so it takes several weeks.
Yeah, he said several weeks, but I think we're almost at
Yeah.
several weeks or beyond several weeks, so
Correct.
maybe you could call him or Mr. Hamlin could call him
Yeah.
and push him on that one, because
See what he-
we need to get that rolling. If we're making a commitment to look at it, then we have to make a real commitment to look at it, pros and cons, and come to a decision, not just continually stretch it on, but
Right.
and I know that's, right now it's on Mr. Leitner.
Yes.
Water and Sewer, Lease and Operations Compliance Review Board, Mr. McLean, meeting coming up, I believe.
Yes, we do have one scheduled for the 24th, tentatively scheduled for the 24th at 5 p.m.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Glazer, City Controller's report, anything to report this evening?
May I just say something? Another committee I belong to is the Allentown Housing Authority committee. But the meeting has changed. It's going to be Wednesday instead of Thursday. So that's the only announcement.
Okay, and you attend those meetings, and we thank you for that. Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. McLean, you did say we're having a meeting about the Compliance Review Board on May 24th. Controllers report, Mr. Glazer, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm waiting for responses from Finance Department, and when we get them, I'll probably have 2 or 3 things to report on, sir. Hopefully the next meeting.
Thank you, sir. Appointments, Ms. Apple, we have 2 appointments for this evening.
Yes, we do. We have an appointment for Mark Buckwalt on the Planning Commission. His term will expire 6/19. Are there any comments from my colleagues? Anything from the audience? No?
Then we'll vote.
Separate.
Yeah, Mr. Hammond, let's call a voice vote.
Okay, we're going on Mr. Buckle, and that was actually a mistake. It should be 2018. Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Green? Yes. Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Wire? Yes. What?
Yes.
Yes. And both individuals stated they apologize, they couldn't be here tonight, so. Next one?
John Bartle, the Water and Sewer Lease and Operations Compliance Review Board. Any comments from the colleagues?
I would just make a comment. I know him personally for many years. He was a longtime employee of the city, an excellent person for the position. I'm glad to see that he's being reappointed.
Anything from the public? Seeing none? Mr. Hammond?
Okay, Mr. Bartle. Mr. Bartle's term expires next year. He's a council appointment. His term runs concurrent with 2-year council terms. Mr. Grady?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Ms. Mota?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connell?
Yes.
And Ms. Sapp?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Apple, appreciate that. Now we'll go right into ordinances for final passage. These are all to be voted on. Bill 15.
Bill 15 amends the general fund by adding 2 positions in the Bureau of Building Standards and Safety, a housing inspector at 14M, and a rehabilitation specialist at 14M. Each position is budgeted at an annual salary of $29,327, and it's funded through the Community Development Block Grant Program.
Okay, Dr. McGuire was in your committee earlier. You want to speak to that or turn it over to Ms. Kistler?
I think Ms. Kistler is better equipped to do that. Yes, we've discussed some length in committee prior to.
Thank you. Leonard Leitner apologizes that he couldn't stay for the second part of the meeting this evening. So I will do my best to answer any questions that you may have, but basically, as he explained previously, he's adding 2 positions currently funded by the CDBG grant to deal with owner-occupied inspections, as well as the housing rehab specialist for owner-occupied properties.
And this was a committee, we had a pretty good discussion with the colleagues and the public on this, so thank you, Ms. Kistler. Do we have any comments about this?
Probably. There's like 3 guys left. It's going to get a lot quieter now.
Mr. Hanlon, let's continue. Shall we do the iPads? Good idea, Mr. Hanlon.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Ms. Mota?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connell?
Yes.
Ms. Zappa?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
There's 7 yeas and no nays.
Okay, well, Ms. Kistler is here, rather than go through about 3 or 4 or 6 other bills, we're going to go right to Bill 26, which was also CEDC. Bill 26, Mr. Hamlin.
Bill 26 amends the health budget to provide for a supplemental appropriation of $48,700 as a grant from Highmark to provide for the continued training and support to help guide the Allentown Health Bureau in establishing a quality improvement and quality assurance plan to better serve the community and meet the requirements necessary to reach public health accreditation.
Thank you, sir. Dr. McGuire, this was in your committee this evening.
I have my, I can't find it right here. There it is. Yes, that was passed 3-0.
And this is the second part of the
Yes, this is the
96,000.
donation from the Highmark Foundation to assist with the process that results in the quality improvement plan, the 1-year plan, and then the 3-year strategic plan.
Thank you, Ms. Kistler. Comments from my colleagues about Bill 26? Comments from the public? Mr. Allen, call vote.
Yeah, Bill 26, Mr. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Ms. Voda?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connell?
Yes.
Ms. Zappa?
Yes.
Mr. Reedy?
Yes.
And Hendricks?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Kistler. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
And now we'll go to Bill 17.
Bill 17 amends the grant fund budget to provide for a supplemental appropriation of $34,780 from the United States Department of Justice to the City of Allentown as a pass-through grant to the Bradbury Sullivan LGBT Community Center.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hendricks was in your committee last week. Do you want to talk about that? And we have Assistant Chief Struss here.
I'll let you explain the bill. I will say this, though, the bill was approved by the committee unanimously and forwarded for a favorable vote from all council. Chief Struss, if you would please just address briefly what the bill is all about.
Okay, thank you. This is a grant that the police department received through the DOJ to partner with the Bradbury Sullivan LGBT Center to develop a national training model for police officers in interacting with the LGBT community. So if we're successful in this one, which I hope, this will be a training that will be utilized by police departments across the country.
Thank you. And as I mentioned at the committee meeting, I think this speaks very favorably about our police department and professionalism for them to consider us to do this for something that will be used nationwide. And again, I commend you and the officers for the fine job you do all the time.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hendricks. Comments from my colleagues? Go ahead, Mr. Green, go ahead.
Some of it in the ordinance itself, sometimes it's for LGBTQ and other areas for LGBT. Do we want to be consistent on it?
I am consistent. One is referring to the Bradbury Sullivan Center, which just uses LGBT in the grant.
Correct. The grant from the DOJ uses the Q at the end, but the Bradbury Sullivan in their title just uses LGBT.
Good to know.
I can't answer why.
I think it's a non-issue, quite honestly, so I don't see.
Oh, Julio, they can't hear you in the back. They can't hear you in the back. What you just said, you can't.
I just wanted to be consistent with the ordinance as we usually are. On one area it says Bradbury Sullivan LGBT community, the other one says LGBTQ. And doesn't matter to me however it is, but I just wanted to be consistent. But if it's like that, it's like that. Just wanted to bring it up. It's okay.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Any other comments from my colleagues about the Bill 17 grant? Seeing none, anybody from the public? Seeing none, we will vote on Bill 17. Mr. Hanlon?
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Ms. Voda?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connell?
Yes.
Ms. Zappa?
Yes.
Mr. Reedy? Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's 78.
Thank you, sir. Bill 20. Thank you, Ms. Russ.
Bill 20 amends the capital fund budget to provide for a supplemental appropriation of $259,076 for monies received from a bond security for the Twins at Devonshire subdivision. The bill will provide funds for public infrastructure, things, materials, relocated telephone poles, and permits to complete public improvements.
Mr. McLean was in your committee last week, Public Works.
It was in my committee, it was recommended favorably unanimously, and Mr. Messenger happens to be sitting right here, and I know he's going to give us the Reader's Digest version.
Yes, so this was a development that back in 2007 went belly up. There were other developers through the years that were interested in